Ryan Leach back here in Chicago at Benzinga's Cannabis Capital Conference. Very excited to be joined by Emily Fisher, the CEO and founder of Leafwell. Great to see you.
Hi, Dan. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
It's a true pleasure. You came all the way from jolly old England to see us today.
I did, yes. Although Leafwell is based in the US, I came over from London. I live in London.
And I also heard that you brought your 1-year-old. He likes to travel everywhere.
He's been on 18 flights.
Wait a minute, hold on. 18 flights? I went on like maybe 2 in my first couple of years. This guy's a world traveler already.
Yes.
Well, Leafwell, huge company, very important company, and I wanted to give you a chance to explain to people what Leafwell is doing, and you're on the forefront of a lot of things in the industry.
Yeah, we're the largest virtual clinic in the country. So we see over 1 million people on our website on a monthly basis. We facilitate over 15,000 telehealth consultations. We operate in 37 states and work with a network of over 100 healthcare providers. And more recently, we've begun working with employers to offer integrative cannabis care as a reimbursable employee benefit, which I'm really excited about because I think it could be a game changer in terms of normalizing cannabis as a medicine, being recognized by your employer. If cannabis is being covered by your employer as an employee benefit, it's essentially being recognized for its therapeutic benefits. And I think for a lot of people who are perhaps afraid to use cannabis because of workplace repercussions, it becomes an option now.
Well, I think you and I know that it should have been an option a long time ago.
Absolutely.
But the fact that it is now and that you are working on this, it's a very special thing. Why, when you look at the biggest things that can hold this back, what are they? But doesn't it seem like we're in a spot where it's not going to be as hard as it might have been 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
What are the biggest things that are going to hold this industry back? Is that
no,
what you mean?
Just being able to do what you're doing where you're obviously adding such an important aspect to it.
Yeah.
Do you think we're in a spot where there won't be a lot of things that will hold it back?
Well, we're essentially creating a category. This is very early days, so I think with anything very new, there's always challenges, right? People are skeptical. There is still very much stigma, and you might say, well, that's not realistic. Employers aren't going to sponsor you using cannabis. That's just, that's ridiculous. But actually, we're also very focused on research. So our mission is to increase access, education, and research. And I think research is such an important part of the conversation. That's how you move the conversation forward. Right. So we're very focused on the data, and the research actually supports that it's not only good for employees, it's good for employers, it meets their objectives, and and eventually I believe it'll be good for health insurance. I believe that the future of medical will be reimbursable, it'll be reimbursed by health insurance, and it will be not just an alternative treatment, but actually an option for patients in the framework of broader healthcare.
Yeah, a healthy employee is a productive employee, and so is a healthy employer. So it works both ways. And when it comes to maybe, the biggest misconception about that, what do you believe that is? Because obviously you and I and the people you work with understand how important and value added this is. But it seems like there are some out there that maybe do have a misconception of why. Like you said, it'd be crazy for an employer to cover cannabis. It helps millions and millions of people. What do you think that big misconception is?
Well, what do employers care about? They care about a healthy workforce. They care about reducing absenteeism, increasing productivity, and also they're facing, increasing healthcare costs year on year. What preliminary research is showing is that it speaks to all of those things. And I won't say too much, but we've recently finished a study with over 15,000 patients, and we've seen trends like a 48% reduction in ER visits, a 50% reduction in doctor visits between a cannabis novice and someone who's been using medical cannabis. Now that's significant. Less days in the ER means less days you're missing of work,
right.
Increased productivity, as you said. So I think we have to follow the science. That's the key. We're just scratching the surface around how cannabis can help people, and as long as we focus on the data, focus on the research, I think just as most of the country has adopted some form of legal cannabis framework, I think the same will be the case with employers really seeing this as a value add.
And those are incredible numbers, by the way. I mean, it's just very heartwarming to hear that, and it's only going to help people more and more. Now, when it comes to Leafwell, in 2025, 2026, what is the focus going to be for you guys in the next couple of years?
Well, we started this company to address the real challenges that patients and consumers face. So I'm a patient. I've used cannabis as a patient. I look at this industry through the lens of a consumer and a patient. And I think actually that as regulations open up, our mission of increasing access, education, and research only becomes more relevant. As states open up their markets and new consumers enter that market, the focus moves away from medical, but the need for therapeutic guidance remains. In fact, it increases. And so I think that our focus is to continue to serve those patients and those consumers and make sure that people can continue to consider cannabis and to use cannabis with confidence. So that's really our focus. And I believe that if we stay focused on that North Star, this is something that's going to be relevant all over this country and internationally.
Well, Emily Fisher, the CEO and founder of Leafwell, you were doing some incredible work. I can't wait to see you next time. When your son, maybe 30 flights next time I see you?
Maybe.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.